Ramadan,
Ashahru,
Ramadan,
the month of peace is here, and I wish you well. The month of peace,
Ya Ramadan,
Ashahru,
Ramadan,
the month of peace is here, and I wish you well.
Marhaban ya Ramadan, Shahrul Mubarak, Shahrul Quran, Ashukru Lillah. We welcome you Ramadan, thank you for coming.
My name is Ali Silla. I'm the host of Historic Hub, Silla Historic Hub. The hub look at the role of Islam in Liberia, the contribution of Islam in the construction of Liberia. We talk to actors and that of the Christian community. We also talk about major contribution of actors that make sure that the Republic was established. So today we'll be looking at the monument of King Sao Bosso Kamara from Bapulu County, and he was a warrior that controlled the Congo Confederates, and the Congo Confederate was in the Bapulu Lower Lofa County. Today, if you go there, you'll see his grave site is there. So his contribution is highly recommended and commended in the constructions, in the independence, in the settlers' involvement in Liberia. So we are here to see the monument and talk a little bit about that. All right. So this is the Silla Historic Hub. The hub look at the involvement, the contribution of Muslim in Liberia.
This is here, and I wish you well. The month of peace,
Ya Ramadan,
Ashahru,
Ramadan,
the month of peace is here, and I wish you well. Your beginning.
Subscribe to Silla Historic Hub, and yeah, we need to pass on the media. Subscribe to follow us on YouTube, Silla Historic Hub.
Peace is here, and I wish you well. The month of peace,
Ya Ramadan,
Ashahru,
Ramadan,
the month of peace is here, and I wish you well. Your beginning is mercy, your middle is forgiveness, and your ending is freedom from Jahannam.
Ya Allah, Ya Rabbina.
Ya Hakim, Ya Qayyum.
So this is some of the history, the symbolic contributors and people who make significant contribution to Liberia. So if you look at the canoe, obviously plays some serious role in Liberia history. Talk about she launched the canoe to make sure people get out of here. So if you look at the palm tree, so these on this side are the pioneers. The pioneers, you can see from their dress code. Obviously, the pioneers are ex-slaves from America who came from the arrangement of the American Colonization Society. They came to Liberia in the early 1800s, but the Republic of Liberia was founded in 1822, but they were a year prior to that. So, and on this side, these are the indigenous, the natives, the aborigines that were here. But there was a major conflict because when the pioneers came through struggle, they settled at Providence Island, and there was a dispute about land, especially in Mosorado. So because they said the settlers bought portion of the land and the native had some serious issue in the land. This is King Sao Bosso Kamara, who was a Muslim, who played a serious role in settling a dispute between the native who settled the dispute between the native and the pioneers and the slave from America. So King Sao Bosso Kamara, obviously, his involvement in Liberia before, this is where the history of Liberia is so important to talk about Islam in the formation of the republic, the role Islam played in Liberia. He was a Muslim. He was in Liberia before the arrivals of the pioneers. Because he was a leader of the Congo Conferrate, who was comprised of so many different tribes, especially the Mende-speaking people, that comprises of the Madingo, the Va, the Mende, the Gola, the Kisi, the Pele, the Loma. Those people was part of the Congo Conferrate, and he was a leader of those people, and he was a Muslim. So he was here prior to the pioneers, and he had a good relationship with the Aboriginal, the natives that were here. So he settled the dispute between the pioneers and that of the native. So Islam always been in Liberia. Islam always been in Liberia. We just need to highlight people who make significant contribution of Islam in Liberia. This is why we came here today to talk about the symbolic gesture that is here at Duko, and also talk about the history of Liberia. If you look at the flag also, during those days, the flag, make sure that the flag don't touch the ground. That's why you have the little guy here and the native people are holding. This is Joseph Jingeraba, the first president of the Republic of Liberia. If you look at, before he became president, they needed to make sure that the dispute, the land issue, was being resolved. At one point, the natives were agitating. He had to get involved and use some of his military operations to make sure to calm down the natives so the pioneers can own this land. This is why Monrovia is what it is. Monrovia was controlled by the pioneers. This is why you see most of the streets in Monrovia are named after some of the pioneers. You will not see any native person name, street name after anybody in Mosorado County. Only King Sao Bosso Kamara. Today, many people are calling Front Street, Front Street. The name King Sao Bosso Kamara Street was legislated by law in the 1970s because at the time there was serious agitation of rewriting the history of Liberia. So King Sao Bosso, to honor him, they named the first street of the Republic, which is Front Street, after him. So from here, we're going to go to Front Street and talk about that. But I always like to make emphasis on that. King Sao Bosso Street, the first street of the Republic is Front Street. The first street. The reason why they call it the first street is because the pioneers settled in Mosorado River. And the Mosorado River is at the waterfront of Randa Street and Waterside. That's where they used to come. And the first street from the Waterside is Front Street by the river. That's why they say Front Street. From me, the first thing in front of you. So they named that street Front Street. And in his honor, his role in Liberia as a Muslim, his role in Liberia as a leader, they were able to honor him and memorialize him with that recognition to name the street after him, King Sao Bosso Street. So this is Sila Historic Hub. We look at the contribution of Muslim in Liberia, whether it's through the construction or the reconstruction in Liberia. So I want to thank everybody here.
Ramadan.
The month of peace is here, and I wish you well. Your beginning is mercy, your middle is forgiveness, and your ending is freedom from Jahannam.
Ya Allah, Ya Rabbina.
Ya Hakim.